Good morning, Magic, and welcome to Unfinity Preview Week. It's time for a foray to the greatest amusement park in the multiverse. I've got a wild new mechanic and one, or four preview cards today, depending on how you count it, to tell you all about. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Okay, so let's throw it back to the last unset, Unstable, the one all about horses. Wait, no. I'm being told it was all about science and contraptions. Contraptions were something in a space we had talked about playing in for a long time, a side deck. You started the game with an additional deck of contraptions, and then other cards would assemble them. You'd fire them off from left to right, and slowly but surely build your deadly machine. They ended up being a big hit. Well, move over, deadly machines. It's time for some of what I'm sure are very safe and not at all dangerous amusement park attractions. When working on Unfinity, the contraptions went over well enough that we wanted to try out the side deck idea again, but this time a little different. This is with a mechanic called attractions. Here's how they work. You start the game with a side deck of attractions, at least 3 in limited, or at least 10 unique ones if you're playing constructed. You shuffle them and leave them off to the side. Then, at some point, a card will instruct you to open an attraction. When you do, flip up the top card. Bam! It's on the battlefield now. And hey, look, it's our preview card, Roller Coaster. More about what's going on with this specific one in a second. If you have one or more attractions, at the start of your main phase, you'll roll a d6. Each attraction has lights in the bottom right-hand corner. In this case, 3 and 6. Whatever number you roll, all the attractions with that number go off and trigger. So when you roll a 3 or 6 and then roller coaster triggers, you'll give all your creatures +2/+0. As you keep amassing attractions, you'll have more and more. What's the strategy here? Maybe you want to try and spread your attractions out across numbers, so you always hit something. Or maybe you want to try and really focus on some specific ones. Whatever your choice, it's your amusement park to build. You'll note that attractions are artifacts, so you can destroy them like any other artifact. So if you want to feed your roller coaster to your ATOG or naturalize your opponents, well, bad news for the riders, I guess. Now, there's one other wrinkle here. Attractions have multiple versions with different numbers on each. So there's a lot of variety there, even among the mechanically same cards. For example, roller coaster has 4 possible versions. The 6 is always lit up, and then there's one for each of 2, 3, 4, and 5. You'll also note the flavor text on each is different, and that's a fun one too. Let's talk about the flavor of this world. In Unfinity, the amusement park isn't just any old amusement park. It's a park built full of meta references to the worlds of Magic the Gathering. In classic Unfashion, there are in-jokes galore. With these 4 cards, each references another card in the flavor text. This first one references a ride called Garrick's Wake, after In Garrick's Wake. Yeah, that sounds like a rough one. And then we have the Fluctuator. I hear the cycling on that one is really intense. Next up is a reference to Time Spiral, quite the powerful ride. And finally, a classic your parents probably told you about, the Howling Mine. There are a ton of references in this set. Stay tuned to try and catch as many as you can. And speaking of staying tuned, I'll be back this Friday with another preview card. Talk with you again then. And until then, may you enjoy the ride. You got this.
Goliath Paladin, Avenging Hunter, and Underdark Explorer. The Paladin has not seen much play yet, and seemed, along with Torch, the safest to leave. It has no form of evasion itself. White is a color which could probably use this effect fairly if it showed up anywhere. We decided to leave this one alone. Next up is Underdark Explorer. This one has already been